Hey guys, this is December the 12th, 2024, and I hope everybody's having a wonderful day so far, and I hope everybody's been having a great week. I want to start off today's video and just really quick say congratulations to David in Canada. Yesterday was his 1 year anniversary of sobriety, and he's been here on the channel now basically since I started it. I think he subscribed like a week or two after I really started the channel, and I had you in my calendar, man. I was actually gonna say congratulations yesterday, but I just felt horrible yesterday, so I just couldn't post. But hey, better late than never. So once again, congratulations, David. I'm super proud of you, brother. Like I said yesterday, I just did not feel good. I think I just really pushed myself too hard over the weekend and just here at the house over the past couple of days. I mean, I just had surgery a week ago. It's been a week, 7 days since my procedure, and I just did entirely too much. That was a pretty big procedure that I went through. It was like 4.5 hours long, and it takes a big toll on your body when they do that, especially with the anesthesia. It takes me at least a week to start feeling decent after I have surgery and they put me under. It just makes me feel like crap after I go under anesthesia, but it's much better than the latter. Of not having anesthesia and going into the surgery with sedation and then waking up in the middle of it, because I can tell you right now that was horrible. And then last but not least, on Monday, I had the video completely uploaded. It was ready to go. I had every single thing done. I was like 3 seconds away from hitting the publish button, and something in my gut just told me, don't publish this video. It's going to end up upsetting somebody. And it wasn't anything super controversial or anything like that. Just some of the stuff I touched on in the video, I just thought it might upset somebody, and I just don't want to do that. I've stayed rather neutral on this channel since I started it, and it's not like I was really sharing opinions or anything like that. I just thought that the subject matter in some of the parts of the video might upset somebody, and that's a might, and it might have upset maybe just a couple people, but I just don't want to upset anybody. So I just decided to go with my gut and not publish that video. So I'm sorry I've been gone for the past couple of days, but it is what it is. Like I said, Monday I just didn't want to upset anybody. Yesterday I just did not feel good. I had to take my nausea medication yesterday afternoon, and I slept all day. I didn't wake up until like 8 o'clock last night, and just still felt horrible after I woke up, but I'm feeling better today. I've just done too much, and I just need to make sure that I'm resting after I have those procedures done. I tend to overdo things and push myself a little bit too hard. But, I paid the price yesterday. I really did not feel good. But now that that's all out of the way, what I want to talk about today is something I think that's rather important, and that's staying sober during the holidays, because that can be rather difficult. This time of the year is when a lot of people are drinking. There's a lot of parties going on, Christmas parties, family get-togethers, and then not to mention, you got Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. There's just a lot going on, especially at your job. A lot of jobs have Christmas parties, and most of the time at those Christmas parties, there's drinking involved. And that's what I kind of wanted to touch on today, and just maybe give some ideas of, how to try your best and stay sober during the holidays. I think one of the first things I think that's rather important with this is, I'm not saying go out and preach it to the world, but it might be a good idea just to mention it to some people that you're trying to stay sober right now. And once again, I wouldn't say go out and tell everybody. But it might be something important, maybe if you get invited to a Christmas party for work, maybe going to your boss and just saying, hey, I've recently gotten sober, or I've been sober for quite some time now, and I just don't feel comfortable going to that party. or maybe I'll show up for just a minute and I'm gonna politely excuse myself, just so I don't tempt myself too much to drink. And the same thing goes with family as well. It's one of those things where you might want to just, tell somebody in your family, hey, I'm sober and I'm really trying hard to stay sober. Maybe, if I come over to your house, maybe everybody could, not drink so much in front of me, maybe put it in a cup or something. You could always ask that, people refrain from drinking, which, that's one of those things. And I talked about this last year. Is it necessarily fair to ask everybody else, to bend to what you request? And, that's a question for you to answer. That depends on yourself, your family, how they all are. If everybody is pretty cool and they understand the position you're in, especially if your family has been asking you to get sober for quite some time, I don't think that's completely out of range to ask them. One, maybe just put it in a cup where you can't see what they're doing, or just don't drink while you're there. Because I really don't want to be around alcohol. And that's just my preference. I just don't want to be around. I don't want to smell it. And I really don't want to be around people that are intoxicated, because that can be rather annoying, especially if you're the one that's sober. People start getting loud. People get more confrontational when they've been drinking. You'll notice that people start to argue more when they've been drinking. People get really animated when they've been drinking. And also, people tend to get... I'm trying to think of the word for this. People tend to get really opinionated and stand behind their opinions when they've been drinking, where they wouldn't be so firm in their opinions if not. People might be a little bit more understanding in a conversation if they're not intoxicated. But you'll notice a lot of times if people start to drink, if they've got an opinion and, the conversation starts to get a little bit heated, they will argue it and stand by what they believe in. And, like I said, just sometimes that can just be a little bit annoying, especially if you're not drinking too. If you're drinking and you're there, I mean, it's not that big of a deal. You're probably going to join in on the conversation and start getting loud yourself. But if you're sober, you just pick up on that stuff a lot more when you're sober. But back to like I was saying, maybe talk to your boss and just say, hey, maybe can I be excused from this Christmas party, especially if it's something that's mandatory, or just let them know, hey, I'm going to show up for a minute, do the Christmas presents real quick, and then I'm going to go, because I just don't feel comfortable being in that situation around all that alcohol. And for the most part, I would think that most people would be quite understanding, especially if you're talking about your sobriety. And if you're trying really hard to stay sober, I mean, I would think that most people are going to understand where you're coming from, and aren't going to be like, yeah, you have to be at this party, and if not, you're going to lose your job. If you go to your boss and say, hey, look, I want to talk to you about something that's kind of confidential. I don't want everybody knowing about this. And you don't even necessarily have to say that you had a problem with drinking. You could just say that I'm trying to get healthier. Maybe, my blood pressure is too high or something. I mean, I'm not saying go on there and lie, but, you could always just say that, you're trying to improve your health. And, and that's true. If you're trying to stop drinking, you're trying to stay sober, you're trying your best to improve your health, and you're being completely honest. And you could just say, I'm trying to improve my health. I'm trying to abstain from drinking, and I just don't want to be around it. And like I said, I think most people are going to be understanding of that. because you don't want to put yourself in that situation and go to a party. There's going to be alcohol just flowing all over the place. People are going to be getting wild. And that's when the temptation really comes in. And, that little person on your shoulder that's sitting there that's going to say, you can have just one or two, or we're just going to drink tonight. You don't want to fall into that trap. Because like I've been talking about here for the past few days, there is no just one, and there is no just three, and there's not just tonight. You open that can of worms, man, it's hard to put them back in. Especially if you do it on a night like at a Christmas party or something like that, because you're probably going to overdrink. And that's another thing too that you got to be really careful for. If you've been sober for any decent amount of time, if you've been sober for a few months, your tolerance has come way down. You might not think it, but it has. And, if you have had a problem with alcohol for any amount of time, your tolerance increases as time goes on. And it can get rather dangerous, especially in a situation like that where you've got people pouring shots, people start to egg each other on. Come on, man, take this shot. Don't be a wimp. Come on, you got to do it. It's Christmas and blah, 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 blah. Next thing you know, you've downed a few shots, you've had a couple of drinks, a few beers, whatever it may be. And before you know it, you are trashed. And, you run the risk of alcohol poisoning. You run the risk of, going to sleep, especially if you've been eating a bunch of greasy food. And that, if you go to a holiday party, there's going to be all kinds of finger foods and snacks and greasy stuff. Falling asleep after getting intoxicated like that and laying down in the bed, you could potentially throw up in your sleep and choke on your own vomit. And I have spoken about this, but that happened to me a bunch of times when I was a drinker, and it is super, super scary. And I woke up every time that it happened to me, but, there's people that don't. I was super lucky that I was able to get up. And even when I did wake up, it's not like I just was able to get it right out of my lungs, because what ended up happening is I threw up while I was sleeping. It got into my lungs, and I guess I woke up because I couldn't breathe. And when I did, I had to flop onto the floor, get on my hands and knees, and basically throw up onto the floor to get it out. And I know that sounds gross, but this is the truth. This is the unfortunate truth of this stuff. And I remember getting that crap in my lungs, and that stomach acid gets in your lungs, and it makes it super hard to breathe the next day. You can still feel that burning sensation in your lungs, and you'll still be coughing stuff up for the next couple of days after that. It's just not a good situation to be in. Also, at the same time, letting people know, and it's another good reason to let people know that, that you're not drinking anymore, is that you don't want to end up getting a gift of alcohol. Every single year, for my birthday, for Christmas, I got some kind of gift of alcohol, or some kind of alcohol-related gift, whether it be koozies, shirts or hats that were alcohol-related, or alcohol glasses, mixers, you name it. I pretty much got it for a gift for the holidays. And maybe just telling somebody, especially if it's for work or something like that, you guys do a little pick a name out of the hat, and you have to buy this person a gift or whatever it is. Maybe just saying something briefly, and just saying, hey guys, I'm sober now, I don't drink anymore. Please don't buy me a gift of alcohol or something that's related to it. Same thing goes for family, and just kind of letting them know so that people don't accidentally buy you a gift of alcohol, because you don't want to be rude, and then next thing you know, you're opening up a gift and it's a bottle of liquor, and then what do you do with it? You're trying to be polite, and you take it back to your house, and next thing you know, you're staring at that bottle, and man, it's like having money in your pocket. It'll burn a hole in your pocket. The same thing with alcohol. If it's in your house, sitting there on the counter, it's going to start eating at you. And, you're going to keep thinking about it every time you pass by it. And before you know it, the seal is torn off the top of the bottle and you're pouring it over ice. And next thing you know, that little person on your shoulder is telling you, you can just have one or two, or you can just drink for today. It's been a really tough day. Just have a drink today. It's not going to hurt anybody. And before you know it, you're thrown right back into that cycle, that pattern all over again. The pattern of, you drank that night, you need to feel better the next day. Before you know it, a week's gone by, 2 weeks have gone by, you're still drinking, and next thing you know, it's been years. And that's how it happens. Time moves by really quick, especially as we get older. And it's crazy. I mean, like I said, before you know it, it's been years, and it was one relapse. And the time has just flown by, and like the blink of an eye, you didn't even realize how long it's been, and you look back and you're like, man, I relapsed Christmas Eve of 2024, and here it is 2030 or something. Just don't give in to that. Try your best this holiday season to stay sober. And another thing too is, just don't go to the liquor stores. If you know somebody that, drinks themselves and you're thinking about buying them a bottle for Christmas, find something else to get them. Don't walk into a liquor store. I mean, you're just asking for it. It's like, putting on a steak suit and jumping in the ocean with a bunch of great white sharks swimming around you. I mean, you're going to get bit. Just don't go in there. Why tempt yourself like that? Same thing goes for the grocery store. Stay off the alcohol aisles. I mean, for the most part, they're, in the grocery stores, the aisles that have the alcohol on them, that's basically all they have on those aisles. It's just alcohol. There might be something like bread or something like that down that aisle. Find it somewhere else. Just don't go down the alcohol aisle. I mean, like I said, you're just tempting yourself. Why go down there? Just avoid it. Just don't do it. But for the most part, I think those are, pretty much some really good ideas of things that we can do to avoid drinking this holiday. Why go back to it? Especially during the holiday season. If you've been sober for quite some time, your family, they're proud of you, your friends are proud of you. You're not only you're gonna let yourself down, but you're gonna let down your friends and your family. And right before the holiday season, why do that? And, sometimes too, and I used to do this every year, because I would tell myself I'm gonna stop drinking before Christmas. There was always some significant date that I needed to quit for, and Christmas was one of them. And then Christmas will come around, and the next thing you know, if I'd quit around Christmas time, I always relapsed because I had to drink for Christmas. And next thing you know, I'm drinking, and I would tell myself, okay, well, I'm going to quit on January 1st. That's going to be the last day. Well, New Year's Eve, we, especially in my old neighborhood that I used to live in, we always had a block party on New Year's Eve. So I would get home from work, because I always worked on New Year's Eve. I worked on Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, all the holidays. I would get home from work New Year's Eve, and there would be a block party going on in my neighborhood. Well, I would go hang out with them. And before you know it, it's 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I've been up all night long. I worked that night. I got completely drunk on New Year's Eve. And then I woke up New Year's Day, and I was so hungover that guess what I had to do to get rid of the hangover? I had to drink. The hair of the dog was my medicine every single day. That's how I got over those hangovers. And, don't fall into that trap. Don't let yourself do that as well. Tell yourself, well, I'm just going to drink around Christmas, and then January 1st, I'm not going to drink again. Because it just never works out. It just doesn't. Now, there might be a couple of you out there that could do it, and more power to you if you can. But at the end of the day, just why put yourself back in that cycle? You're going to have to go through that whole withdrawal period all over again, the mental anguish that you're going to go through dealing with that. You're going to feel super uncomfortable. it's days of feeling uncomfortable after you quit again, and the pacing back and forth. You don't feel happy about anything. You have dumped all the dopamine in your brain out. Just nothing will make you happy unless you drink. And why go through that? If you have been sober for any amount of time, just don't do it. Think back to that time that you were trying to quit, before you got sober. Think about that. Anytime that you start thinking about drinking again, think about how uncomfortable it was for that period of time, especially like that first week, how you didn't sleep at all during the night, how you had RLS, because that's one of the worst things about this is the restless leg syndrome at nighttime. Your legs are kicking around, you can't get comfortable at all, the night sweats that you're dealing with, the throwing up that you're dealing with, the constant headache that won't go away, can't sleep at all. Because if you're like me, the only way I could ever get to sleep if I was drinking. Once I removed that alcohol, man, I was up for months. I could not sleep. And it took me a very long time to get my sleep pattern back to a normal sleep pattern again. Why go through all that stuff again? You just don't want to do it. And not to mention, why mess up your health? I come on here every single day to talk about this because I don't want to see anybody have to go through the health challenges that I've been through. And I can tell you, it's not fun. That surgery that I just had last week, $63,000 for that procedure. $63,000. Now, I have insurance, and that's not what I'm going to end up paying. But if you don't have insurance or something like that, I mean, gosh, think about that. That's a lot of money. And it wasn't cheap. And I had just had surgery a month before that. It's just not worth ruining your health over. It really isn't. And for anything else, not just for your family, for your friends, for yourself, for your career, for your financials, for every single thing in your life that can get messed up if you go back to drinking, your health. Because if there is one thing I can promise you, is that we take for granted our health until it's gone. And no amount of money, you would give any amount of money to get your health back. It does not matter. Once your health is gone, it's gone. Unless they can fix it. And especially something like your liver. Once your liver's shot, that's it. Unless you get a liver transplant. Why put yourself in that situation? Do you want to end up with ascites? Do you want to be in the hospital all the time? Do you want to go to doctor's appointments, 4 times a month? I mean, continue to get CAT scans and MRIs and fibrosis scans and blood work every month, and the list goes on, and be on a million different medications, have to drink lactulose. That stuff is disgusting. Just like the Xifaxan alone, that's like $2,000 a month for that medication. And if you end up having ascites and all that kind of stuff and liver failure, you're going to have to get on that medication. Why deal with that? You just don't, you don't have to. There are some liver diseases, and people do end up with liver disease that don't drink, but you drastically cut the chances of getting it if you just go ahead and stop or stay sober now. So anyway, guys, I hope this video helped give you some ideas of how to stay sober throughout these holiday season. And I'm probably going to think a little bit more over it tonight and tomorrow, and maybe make a part 2 to this. I'm not quite sure yet on some other ideas on how to stay sober, but I didn't want to make today's video too entirely long. I wanted to try to stay somewhere around 20 minutes, and I'm at like 24 minutes right now. So I'm going to go ahead and jump off of here for today. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, I'm sorry I wasn't here the past 2 days. Some things came up. Like I said, that video on Monday, I didn't want to publish it. And yesterday, I just did not feel good. But plan on being here the rest of the week. And until tomorrow, guys, I will see y'all then. I hope y'all have a wonderful rest of your day. Love you guys so much. And until tomorrow, I will see y'all then.